Good morning, Birmingham 806. Me. It's 806 Dixon Divining Talk 995, talk995.com. Thanks for hanging out with us on this lovely Thursday. We got a tiny chance of rain this afternoon. I wouldn't worry too much about it. We don't really see serious chance of rain in the forecast until Sunday. Doesn't mean you're not going to get any. There's a tiny chance. But we're looking at highs basically in the low to mid-90s over the course of the next couple of days. So enjoy the heat, enjoy the dry, assuming that we get it, and take advantage of these few days to take care of maybe some outdoor stuff. My lawn guys were there yesterday, took care of my stuff.
Hey, congratulations.
Has anybody come and murdered your crepe myrtles yet?
Nope, but they're on the way today.
All right, they're on the way.
They're going to destroy what is absolutely in bloom and gorgeous. I'm like, why? God.
Tell us the whole story here, because people are not up to date with what...
The story is this. So in the neighborhood that I live in North Shelby County, they've been doing what they normally do, and that's to Alabama Power hires a crew or crews to cut back the brush from the power lines. We've all seen this, right? Mm-hmm. 3 weeks ago, there was a big truck crane that had one of those massive saws on it where they just go down the inside of the line and cut the trees, and that was fine. Yeah, a lot of woody area where I live. So they're cutting them back. It looks like hell, but anyways, they're getting the job done, hauling off the trees. I thought to myself, I've got 3 beautiful crepe myrtles. I just moved into this house last year, and I thought, before the season comes, so I need to cut these back some. And I thought, no, I haven't seen what they look like yet. I'll let them bloom this year, and then next year I'll look at maybe doing that. Yesterday, there is a door knocker, one of those little card, that gives you the little information. We're going to be in your area tomorrow. There's trees that are in the line, and we're going to cut them down. We're going to cut them all the way back. Yeah. Like I've seen in some other areas where they've already done this. And so there's a phone number and a guy's name, and I won't give out his name. But anyways, if you have questions or you want to discuss this, please give me a call. I called him last night, and he's telling me the whole thing about, these crepe myrtles. There's a few branches that are up there in the lines, and we need to cut them down, cut them all the way back. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, for the love, please don't do that. I said, they just started blooming. They're a beautiful deep red, violet. They're absolutely gorgeous. They look great. Across the street is a neighbor that's got a jungle gym and a pool in the driveway and all this other stuff. And I'm like, the trees block that. And I said, I tell you what, let's make a deal. I'll cut them back when the season is over with and get them down, because it's barely on the lines. It's barely through the lines. Mm-hmm. And he says, well, I'm going to talk to my supervisor tomorrow, and, I'll give you a call, and we'll see what we can do. But I think we're going to have to cut those back because they're touching the power lines. And I'm doing everything I can to talk him out of cutting these down. Yeah. But sometime today, they're coming to my house to cut these down. Now I will have a great bird's eye view of my neighbor's jungle gym set for the kids and the pool that's in the driveway, and it'll look like holy Hell. Oh my gosh, I'm just so and I know they have a job to do. I understand that, but these are this isn't some ginormous limb. These are the little barely top of the
They're quite
crepe
frankly,
myrtle.
Judging from the pictures that you posted yesterday, they're barely touching the power line.
Yeah, they're there though.
You could very easily trim around that, and that's what they do at my house. I have crepe myrtles. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, as a matter of fact. Twice as many as you, but who's counting, Valerie?
Well, there are 3 others, but they're back. They're like 10 feet on the other side of the driveway.
Very nice.
So they're both in, that's 6 trees in full bloom.
And mine are in full bloom too, and they look great. But what they do when the crews come along is they just kind of cut around the power lines. So there's a little swoop up there, and it thins them out, thins the trees out. From my side, they look great.
Yeah.
As you're driving down the road, you're like, oh my, they did a really number on those.
I would like
it's a really bad haircut.
If we have to do a cut, I would agree to that. Yeah. I would say, just leave me some blockage. Yeah. Leave me some of the branches on my side.
Well, my longtime friend Mike Pender from Classic Gardens, he talks about crepe myrtle. People buy crepe myrtles, and they think they want them to be smaller, so they hack them off. And then the branches grow again from the hacked off part. And now you've got a smaller crepe myrtle. But don't do that. Just buy a smaller crepe myrtle. They make them They make crepe myrtles in all different sizes. You can buy a little one if you want to. I have one. Somebody years ago planted one in my front garden. Okay, it's like literally right in front of my house, and I'm like,
Right.
I got to get this thing out of here because the roots are going to like start doing damage to stuff down
Around.
below
Mhm.
if we don't get rid of it. But yeah, somebody thought that would be a good idea, so it's hacked off, and every year some branches come out, and it's like, oh. No, who thought this was a good idea?
Yeah.
Planting a crepe myrtle right next to the house. It's literally 6 inches away. And it's a full-size crepe myrtle. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know why people
Well,
would
I
do that
put
to
out
me.
on X, if anybody's interested, my personal account on X, what the trees look like now. I'll take some after pictures and let you know what transpires today. But
Okay.
I'm just holding my breath.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, you need to talk to them because some people have had success with getting them to do what you're talking about,
Right.
just lightly trim it. And others are like, no, they came and they just took it all the way to that level where there's just the,
They've trimmed mine twice in 6 years, and they've done it the same way both times.
yeah.
So my crew's better than yours, is what I'm
I
trying
guess
to
so.
say. Yeah.
So Alabama Power, I'm just pleading with you
Mm.
and whatever tree crew you hired, please, for the love.
What an odd way of one-upsmanship, though.
Yeah, what? that my crepe myrtles are better? No.
Yeah.
Everything about
That
mine.
your
Yes.
people who are cutting yours back
Are
are
better.
better.
Exactly right.
It's
Yeah.
Yes.
odd up one.
No, everything.
This is what Richard does.
I can do
I
anything
know.
better than you do. Anything you can do, I can do better. Anyway, let's talk about some of the stuff that is in the news after I tell you that Aqua Systems is the best water on earth, and you can have it in your office. If you are the decision maker for your office and you have got one of those old water coolers that has the bottles, now what happens is you run out. You have to wait for the water guy to show up. Or he does show up and he drops off a whole bunch of bottles and they're taking up space. And then as you empty them out, they're taking up space as well. So you got empty bottles, you got full bottles. It's just taking a big footprint. That's just so stupid. You don't need that, and you certainly don't need the filth and grime that is inside that water cooler that you haven't even looked at. If you were to take it apart and see what was in there, good Lord, you'd stop drinking water and start drinking beer for the rest of your life. What you need is this very cool system that Aqua Systems have. You can see it. Just go down Highway 31 south of Valleydale Road. It's on the right. It's next to near Milo's, and there's a carpet place there. You'll recognize it. It says right, big sign, Aqua Systems. Can't go wrong. You go in there and you say, I want to see this office system that Dixon's talking about. It takes the water out of your wall, right? It actually, goes into your water supply. Cleans the water on site. Cleans itself with ultraviolet light, which is very cool. It can give you ice. It can give you cold water. It can give you hot water. It can give you ambient water, and it doesn't take up much more of a footprint than just the water cooler itself. No bottles, no fuss, no muss, no nothing. Everybody here loves ours. We use it all the time. You need to think about getting one of these. The price is right. It's one of the better, great perks you can give to your employees that will make them very, very happy. Aqua Systems, 383-3999. Call for a free, no-obligation demonstration. IWantGreatWater.com. IWantGreatWater.com. Have you heard about this Marine who is running for Congress? He's no longer a Marine, former Marine Corps member who says Donald Trump is the Antichrist and must be killed.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, the Secret Service will be visiting him.
No question. William Uppen, a Republican write-in candidate for Florida's 5th congressional district, so he's clearly not serious, describes himself on X as a prosecutor running to fix a broken political system. And he opens the nearly 7-minute video, yawn, by saying he enters the race to restore bipartisanship, return power to the working class, and fix our broken political system. The tone quickly shifts, however, as Upham says he has come to believe the country is broken and that America is engaging in a spiritual battle. We are led by a president who is the enemy of God, Upham says, before citing Bible passages and discussing the oath he took as a Marine officer to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. He then claims there is no doubt Trump is the Antichrist. He's a false messiah, and he's your enemy, and he must be killed, Upham says.
Oh.
Now, he's wearing Marine camo in this video, but the Marine Corps makes it very clear that he was medically discharged in May of 2025. Medically discharged sounds a little
So
bit
we've
like
got a little mental illness,
maybe
maybe?
he ain't all there.
Yeah.
Not really sure. They said the Marine Corps is aware of the disturbing statements made by William Upham. The comments made by Upham are a direct violation of the oath he swore to uphold and are not in keeping with the service's value. That is one way to put it. Yes.
I think you're going to be in handcuffs here pretty soon.
Secret Service says we're aware of the comments made by a congressional candidate in Florida, and we are investigating anything that can be perceived as a threat toward one of our protectees. Of course, out of concern for operational security, we do not discuss matters of protective intelligence. So they're not going any further than that. But yeah, this guy's a piece of work, and he needs to go. When asked about it, Donald Trump said, "Of course, I'm the Antichrist. I'm the biggest Antichrist, the most amazing Antichrist. There are other Antichrists. Other Antichrists wish they were as good as me."
He's off. He's obviously off of his medicine. He needs to be back on his meds.
President giving a speech tonight. You have any?
Yeah.
You want a prediction?
On what the big news is,
Yeah.
thinking probably election 2020.
2020, I think he's gonna bring out
I think it's
some,
going to have something to do with China, a
That's
little
the
of
claim.
that,
Yeah, I
a
don't
little
know.
Iran talk. He'll touch on a bunch of things. But
It's never really the slam dunk that you want it to be, and they come out and they go like, "We've got information about China in the 2020 election." It's going to be like, well, there's a chance they could have possibly. Okay.
influenced the
I'm
election.
sorry. Are you actually getting in my primetime lineup to say that? That's not okay. 8:17 with Dixon and Vining. Three things coming up next. 8:22. Dixon Dividing Talk 99.5, Talk 99.5.com. A little rain in the forecast for this afternoon, but not much, 20% chance. I would say you are probably A-OK for the next several days. 90s for a high, 92, 93, around in there. And, enjoy this somewhat semi-dry time. Get outside and do those things that you have been unable to because of that chance of rain that has been hovering over our heads all this time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll wash my truck.
There you go.
Probably not.
You'll probably say the minute you wash it, it'll rain.
Of course. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm. But your truck will look good for a little bit.
You want to stop the rain, plant some plants.
He's right. Oh,
You got to break out the hose forever at that point.
You sure do. Hey, speaking of trucks, you got a truck that you're ready to sell? Are you ready to get rid of that minivan now that the kids are out of the house? You're an empty nester. You're like, why am I still driving this minivan? Yeah, maybe it is time to get into a new ride, a different ride. But first, you got to figure out what you're going to do with your old ride. And Craig at Birmingham Broker can help you with that. Man, I love what they do down at Birmingham Broker. One of the things is how shocking you find out how much more value maybe you have in your vehicle than you really thought. Because you can look up all day long online what you think the value of that vehicle is, the mileage and the year the car is and the shape that it's in. But ultimately, it's somebody like an expert like Craig at Birmingham Broker that can really nail that down. Now, the next thing is getting it listed and getting it sold. That's another thing he's very good at. He will try to do everything he can to sell your truck, car, SUV, whatever it is you've got, classic car, as fast as he can. But he also wants to make sure that he gets as much value out of the car because that belongs to you. So find out more. Take your vehicle to him. If nothing else, just say, hey, I want to bring it. Tell me what you think you can sell it for. Give him a couple of minutes, and he can do that. You'll be very happy dealing with Craig and the guys at Birmingham Broker at 2224 4th Avenue South. Visit them there. You can just pull right up in the bay when you get to Birmingham Broker, or look them up online. BHAMBroker.com, BHAMBroker.com.
And now, it's Dixon and Vining's top 3 things you need to know.
This isn't so much a news story as it is a bit of wonderment. Texas has received 6 months' worth of rain in 3 days.
Woo! Holy smokes.
A lot of flooding and rescues operations are underway in southern Texas as they are attempting to get people out of their houses. It's the classic scene you see all the time with guys in boats pulling people out of first and in some cases second-story windows to get them into the boat and move on. That is some serious flooding. 1 year after we had serious flooding in Texas, you remember, and that whole camp got washed away.
Oh,
the
yeah,
camp
that
that
was
finally
awful.
declared bankruptcy and closed,
Yeah.
which was right. They were trying to open again.
Little girl from Mountain Brook who
Yes,
passed away
ended
in
up
that.
losing her. Terrible situation there. But here we are all over again. Texas is getting it a second time. The Kuwaiti military says it is once again fending off missile and drone attacks from Iran. The Iranian regime has launched waves of strikes at neighboring Arab countries that house U.S. military bases in recent days. The Kuwaiti air defenses are currently confronting attacks by hostile drones following the sinful Iranian aggression, Kuwait's army said in a statement. General Staff of the Army notes that any explosion sounds heard are the result of air defense systems intercepting hostile targets. In other words, they're not hitting anything because there's air defense systems that are stopping them. In the meantime, the United States continues to launch new strikes on Iranian military targets as we are trying to stop them from being able to attack any sort of ships in the Strait of Hormuz, commercial or otherwise. Also, we have had to fire upon a ship in order to stop it because we're blockading once again and keeping Iranian ships from coming and going through Iranian ports. We're going to cut them off economically, and we're going to bomb the snot out of them physically, and eventually they're going to capitulate.
Yeah, and all up and down the coast there where the Strait of Hormuz is really the focus, is to find out where they're sending drones from and rockets and things like that, so that you can, safely open up the Strait of Hormuz and get everybody moving through there. That has been a huge sticking point. And of course, we started this whole thing because we wanted to make sure that Iran didn't have any more nuclear weapon or capability. And so it kind of led to this, but that seems to be the bigger issue now that we've kind of got them tamped down on bombing everything. That first strike that we did, 15,000 strikes, but we've got to open up the Strait of Hormuz. That will help not only our economy, but across the world, the economy.
World economy,
So,
obviously.
yeah.
Trump administration officials and conservatives torched a California judge's sentence for an illegal immigrant trucker who killed 3 people in a fiery California semi-truck collision. He was given less than 5 years behind bars.
Unbelievable.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, who called the sentencing a slap on the wrist, said the agency will not stop until all illegal alien truckers are put out of business and held accountable. And the Department of Homeland Security said when he gets out of jail, we're going to be there waiting. We're going to grab him. We're going to make sure he never, ever drives a truck on our roadways again because
it's a shame that we're even housing him in our jails.
Amazing.
It's like, get him out of here.
Yeah.
But the problem is, then does he come back?
Well,
Find another way back in.
His own home country may never punish him,
Yep.
which I believe he's from India, as I recall. Came over here, of course, came across the border during the Biden administration and was here pending an immigration hearing, according to federal sources. He later obtained a California commercial driver's license, which he wasn't supposed to do, in June of 25. And, he pulled across, you might remember the story, pulled across a roadway and ended up blocking some vehicles. And three people ended up dying and several other people injured, by the way. Just what a mess. What an absolute mess. I think we're going to have to come up with some punishment for these states that continue to hand out CDLs to illegal immigrants.
I can't fathom that they're doing that.
Yeah.
You can't speak English.
Yeah.
You don't know road signs. How in the world do you pass? They're just handing out licenses. They have to be because they don't. How would you even take any kind of test?
I can't even imagine. You can't speak English. Why in the world would you be allowed to have a CDL that would involve you having to read the English written signs, talk to English-speaking police officers? All of that is absolutely absurd. And the House passed the Daylight Savings Time bill the other day, the Sunshine Preservation Act, as Tommy Tuberville calls it.
Yeah.
Sunshine Protection, I believe. Anyway, there is every reason to believe that this is going to die. It doesn't even get picked up by the Senate. Senators are so at odds about it, and part of it has to do with the fact that the middle of the country is like, we're not going to see sunshine until 9 a.m. in some of these winter days.
Yeah, and that's the argument. The East Coast and Alabama and Georgia and Florida, we all benefit from it, but there are other parts of the country that are like, well, hang on a second here.
Yeah.
How long are we going to be in the dark for?
Well, maybe we need to revise our system because that central time zone is just so big. Either we add another time zone or we, trim that thing back and make the Eastern time zone a little bit bigger and the Mountain time zone a little bit bigger and kind of make them all equal. And then you won't be so, ticked off about the whole thing.
They may have to put that in this.
We really, I've said this for the longest time in Alabama, we should be on Eastern time. It's crazy to me that we're not. If you travel 2 hours north and slightly east, you're in Chattanooga, which is on Eastern time. Why are we not on Eastern time?
Mm-hmm. You're drawing straight lines, are you?
I know. Well,
straight lines,
if
north to south.
If you drew a straight line across the western line of Alabama and straight up from there through Tennessee and all that, you'd be in good shape. Somebody screwed this thing up.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to inflation, they're now just 17 cents flash. 8:35, Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. This is the humor, people. This is what
I
this
mean,
is
it
what
is
we're here
free.
for.
We
This
keep
is-
telling you that.
I know.
Absolutely free.
And you very, very much get what you pay for.
Except for that, it was 17 cents.
17 whole cents, everybody. Last night, listening to a little bit of Mark Levin, very funny stuff. Oh, I should first tell you that before you allow Alabama Power to come, like, kill your
Grape
grape
myrtles.
myrtles, you might want to get Alabama Tree Pros to come by and take care of it for you.
I might need Alabama Tree Pros today.
Them come by and
Serious.
just do a little bit of trimming. They'll just cut around those wires. They're very good at that kind of thing. They're good at not getting shocked, and they're reasonably priced, which is important because you really don't want to have to spend an arm and a leg to do something to make sure that Alabama Power doesn't just top your trees, just lop that top right off. That's just one of the things Alabama Tree Pros does. Of course, they will take your tree all the way down if you want them to. I read the other day a story about a tree company that got the address wrong, went to the wrong house, took down the wrong tree. I mean, this thing is to be tied up in court for years. I don't even want to think about it. Alabama Tree Pros doesn't do that. They know what they're doing. They're right on top of it. They're very, very careful. They're meticulous in their work. In fact, they are going to be 1,000% certain that they're in the right place doing the right thing for the right people, and you're going to get it at the right price, which is exactly what you're looking for. AlabamaTreePros.com, online, AlabamaTreePros.com to find out more. 308-4158 on the telephone to get a free estimate, 308-4158. Last night, Levin was playing a little bit of a Zoom call that was taking place between the members of the Democratic Socialists of America. It sounded like a high school sleepover with a bunch of people all going, I don't even know why we need a Senate. I mean, what's that even for? Do we need a president? We'd have to have like a guy, like a chief officer, like an executive, but he doesn't have to be the president, and he'd have limited power. But the Supreme Court doesn't really do anything, and nobody really listens, so why are we doing that? We're going to get rid of them. And I'm like, you people have no earthly idea what's going on.
No idea.
You don't have the vaguest notion how anything works. And you're thinking that let me get this straight. This, of course, was a form of government that was put together by the founding fathers back in the 1700s, late 1700s. And you guys think you're smarter than them. Is that what you're telling me? You guys honestly believe that you know more than those guys did, that you have a better understanding of how things should work than those guys did. They also talked about how, you shouldn't have to work just to live, just to be able to pay. I mean, if you don't have to, hold a job down just so that you could feed yourself and have a roof over your head, then that frees you up to really be everything you can be. And I'm thinking, so who's putting the roof over your head? And where are you getting the food?
Oh, it just grows on trees, Richard.
Yeah.
Just
That's about all you're going to get is the
what
food
you're-
that grows on trees, because at some point, when you stop paying farmers to produce things,
the doers aren't going to do anymore.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. Would you?
No, heck no.
I mean, the minute you find out that no matter how hard you work, you're going to end up in the same house with the same food as the person next door who doesn't do any work at all, you're going to go, why am I working?
The thing is, this seems so elementary, right? This just seems so simple to grasp, and why they don't grasp it. But it's why DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, are so dangerous, is because they don't understand. You've even got former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and James Carville coming out, speaking out against them.
Finally.
They are finally saying something. The pushback is on, but we said it yesterday. The split in the Democratic Party is something we've never seen in our lifetime to this extent. That you have the Nancy Pelosi's and the James Carvilles of the world who, when we listen to, go, man, they're really off their rocker. They're off their rocker, calling the DSA folks, the socialist of that party now, really off their rocker.
Even further left.
And you're
Crazy.
like, oh, this is so interesting.
But something struck me as I was listening to these lunatics, as they rambled on about things which they have very little. And this really was living proof to me that we have not educated our youth very well.
Mm-hmm.
We did not. Not only did we not understand civics or explain civics to them, very well about, what does the Senate do? Why is it there? Why is there a Supreme Court? We clearly did not get that message through to them, but we also didn't get economics through to them. We didn't understand that the only reason that you can buy a loaf of bread is that somebody wants your money more than they want that loaf of bread. And you want that loaf of bread more than you want your money. That's really what it comes down to. That's all of economics right there. There's a guy out there who's going, I can bake a loaf of bread for 10 cents and I can sell it for $1. Obviously, the government takes something along the way, and, I've got to pay my employees and there's insurance and so on and so forth. So I'm making about 8 cents on a loaf of bread. But that 8 cents really adds up when you sell hundreds of thousands of loaves of bread. And these kids don't understand that because nobody ever taught it to them.
Well, and I think some of that was part of the plan, not to teach
them. Yes, I think that you may be right about that. But here's the thing. I think it's kind of a good thing that this is rearing its ugly head right now, because you're going to start having people examine. Smart people are going to start looking into this and going like, wait a minute, we don't need a Senate? Like, what are you trying to say? I'm not going to have a job? Let me dig into this and find out a little bit more about it. And the more people dig in to socialism, the more they're going to be horrified once they get to the bottom of it.
We hope.
If you're only looking at it in terms of what's in it for me, I've always said this about welfare recipients. It's very nice if you decide that you want to go on welfare and you don't want to work and you just want to take whatever the government gives you. But you have to be willing to accept that that's all you're going to get ever. You can't have any more money than that. We're going to top you out. This that you're getting, that's all there is. You get this Section 8 housing, you get these food stamps, you get this WIC, done. You don't get another dime. I myself would rather have a wide open field where it says you can make as much money as you want. You can open a business. You can start your own side business. You can do gig work if you want to. You want to drive for Uber and DoorDash and God knows what else. Knock yourself out. You get to do all of those things, and you can rake in as much money as you want. I'd rather do that. And really, socialism is just the grand scheme of what we call the safety net of welfare, so to speak, SNAP, et cetera, et cetera. Socialism is just winding that out to its logical conclusion, which is everybody gets the same amount.
Well, and that's the destruction of America.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because look, you'd be surprised at the number of doctors and lawyers out there that are only doctors and lawyers because of the money that it brings in. That's the whole reason they went to school to learn this stuff. That's the whole reason they're doing it, is because they wanted to make money. They wanted to drive a nice Mercedes. They wanted to work in a nice office building, and they wanted to have a decent house. They didn't have a particular love for the law, a particular love for medicine. Maybe they were smart enough to be able to pick this stuff up. But at some point when you go, yeah, you're not going to have anything better than the janitor at the hospital has. Why am I going to medical school?
Done trying.
Yeah.
You're done trying. That's what capitalism is great. That's what America was built on. And that's why we are the greatest country in the world, because of that process. If you take that away, we're just like every other country.
Which begs the question, how do these kids not know that? Is their logical bone broken? Are they just not able to stop and think for a second and go, wait a minute? The only reason we have all these nice things is because people are going to, I think Milton Friedman, there's a great scene of him on the Phil Donahue show. And Phil Donahue was like, well, I mean, can't somebody just be altruistic and put together a society that does this, that, and the other thing? And Milton Friedman was like, where would this great society be? Everything you do because to some degree it benefits you. Everything I do it because to some degree it benefits me. That's how the economy works. We're all in this for ourselves, and in the process we end up helping each other. I want that cup of coffee more than I want the $5 in my pocket. I'm going to give you $5. I get a cup of coffee. That's what I really want. Yep. You want the $5. That's why you made the coffee to begin with. It's
a pretty perfect
system. It's as good as it's going to get.
Right.
There's no better system. I can tell you that. It's not perfect in any way, but it is much better than any other system on the planet. And nobody has ever gotten rich in socialism.
No.
Nobody has ever thrived under socialism. And somehow we're not teaching them history, so they don't know that either.
Well, they don't know history. They don't know economics. And I will tell you this, not only is it not happening in the classroom, but I think and I'm not blaming everybody or our listening audience, I think a lot of that's been lost too, because as kids, we sat around the table. We talked about this stuff at night. Mom and Dad talked to us about,
Oh, yeah.
the, economy and what's going on presidentially or how they were going to vote and why they were voting that certain way. And many families now don't get together around the table as a family at night and spend time talking about, hey, what'd you learn at school today? And then you kind of talk about it and debate it and, maybe add your 2 cents as a parent. Many homes aren't doing that anymore. So they're not getting it at school. And there are families that aren't talking to their kids about it.
No,
So
they're too busy. They're all sitting at TV trays watching the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills,
yes.
getting a real education. 846 with Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. I will never forget hearing this song for the first time on the radio. DJ back announced it. That's a technical term, kids. Back announced it as Queen, and I said, surely he read the label wrong. That doesn't sound at all like the group that did Bohemian Rhapsody. What the hell's he talking about?
Very different and very talented.
I was a big Queen fan, so you'd think I would have noticed, but I was really shocked. And then the second and third time I heard it, I was like, oh, yeah, that's Freddie Mercury, absolutely. And then I thought, these guys are all over the map. They do all kinds of stuff. 4 really great songwriters, a lot of different styles. They do operatic. They do damn near country sometimes, This great 50s sound. Really loved it. 852 Talk 99.5, talk995.com. It is Dixon. It is Vining. It is Dixon and Vining. And West and Phil Carter in the traffic center. Todd texts us and says the big saw is called a giraffe. I thought a giraffe was the...
yes.
Toys R Us.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Isn't that?
Like that.
Jeffrey the giraffe?
Joffrey.
Joffrey.
Joffrey
Joffrey the giraffe.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, mascot. Houston says, cut them down. Cut them all down. Wow.
Well, that's not very nice.
What do you got
We
against
don't want
crepe
'em cut
myrtles,
down.
man? Jeez. David says, a few years ago when they came through and cut my crepe myrtles that were on the street, they gave me my crepe myrtles that black city mold.
Ooh.
The bugs, I've never had a problem since I've been in the house. And the only trees that are crepe myrtles in my yard were the ones that they cut back that had the problem. Say they do not sanitize their soles in between jobs.
Their saws.
No, I like soles better. Says soles.
We'll go with souls.
It says soles here.
Yeah, I can see how that could happen.
They do not sanitize their soles between jobs. They're evil.
I wonder if I could get, some protesters with some signs and just hang out in the front of the house.
They cut the signs off at the top.
Yeah.
They would just come in.
Maybe I'll go home and tie myself to the trees out front. Would that work?
Looking for a
Could I
haircut the
do
hard
that?
way?
Yeah.
Like tie,
You're right.
how people tie.
Yeah, you have to climb up into the tree, though. Really
Yeah.
put yourself in harm's way.
Got to go in the tree.
Yeah, you got to be in the
I
tree.
get bugs on me. I don't know about that. I ain't got time for that.
Well, I want to protest.
How much do
unless
you
it-
really like that tree?
I love there's 3 of them. They're beautiful.
I'm protesting unless
See,
it becomes
Steve? Look.
inconvenient
Look
for
at how
me.
beautiful they are. I'll show you a
I'm
picture.
not denying. Yeah, I mean, I saw the
Look,
post
look.
yesterday, but I'm sitting here thinking to myself, how much are you really willing to go for it?
How pretty they are.
Not if it inconveniences her.
You
She's not
too.
going to do that. Let's not be crazy.
Well, Chad's supposed to, I wasn't supposed to say his name. Chad's supposed to call me this morning. Chad and I are going to become good friends. I just
Chad.
feel it. It's in my bones. Come on, Chad, help me out.
Big Rick says if your trees are actually touching the power lines, you definitely don't want to trim them yourself. It could be a shocking experience.
I see what he did there. Y'all, it's just there's a couple of blooms that are on a couple of the lines. And don't touch my
No touchy.
myrtles.
A
Don't touch.
nameless person here says, I hope they don't cut yours down like they cut mine. They left about 5 feet of tree trunks, no leaves, no tree,
Oh, please
nothing.
don't do that to me. I mean, I'm telling you, it blocks a view that's quite ugly across the street. And no offense to my neighbor. I love my neighbor, but
Obviously
I don't
not.
like the
ugly.
garbage that's in the front of your house.
Whenever we get a text like this that has no name attached to it, I like to go back and see if I can glean some information from previous texts.
Yeah, and what do you get?
The only other previous text we got from this person was on February 3rd, said, does Disney on Ice still come to the BJCC?
Really? February?
Be amazed at the questions we get around here.
Oh, my goodness.
Thomas says, I came to hate crepe myrtles. The job I had at the Bell South building across from the summit, there were 96 crepe myrtles we had to prune every spring. I could see that being
That's a
little
lot of
tedious.
crepe myrtles.
I
Yeah,
can
I would
see that.
imagine.
A little bit
And there's a
tedious.
lot of branches in each of those crepe myrtles.
I know some of you lived in Florida. What is the drinking water in Florida? Why do Florida and California disproportionately produce so many wild-eyed anarchists?
Well, they're pretty big states to begin with. And then the sun makes you a little crazy.
Yeah,
That's what it
Central
is.
Florida is the hub of weirdness. If you read a story about something that was completely off the rails, and then you go look at the byline, it's almost
They're
always
like Orlando.
right, or one of the outlying areas near Tampa
Yeah.
or near it's bizarre, but that really is the hub of weirdness in the Western Hemisphere. I was so proud to live there. It's a slap in the face to all the good and competent truckers out there busting our asses every day talking about the guy who only got 4 years and change for killing 3 people. I don't know what's going on in California. This is another one of those. You're like, really? You're going to allow this guy to walk after?
Liberal judge probably let him walk.
You're not thinking about the victims here at all?
Nope.
And those who have to now live without their loved ones as a result of this guy's horrible actions? I don't understand it. I really don't. Roger says, why don't the government go after companies that actually hire these drivers? Makes sense to me, so they can get a free pass. I agree. I think that they should be going after the companies that hire these drivers in the same way they should be going after almost any company that hires knowingly illegal immigrants. Now, maybe this guy gets his CDL and he doesn't get a job anywhere. He's just a freelance guy. And everyone says, well, he's got a CDL. He must be okay. I don't know. I can't speak to that because we don't have that information. AIOC actually said that we don't need farmers anymore. We have grocery stores now. No, that was a meme. She didn't really say that. She is stupid, but she's not that stupid.
Mm-hmm.
They can go get some civics out of a fantasy book called Disorder Truth by Terry Goodkin. Said lots of these other Wadu liberals, TikTokers, whatever, have a deal against Terry Goodkind. And it's could be something that he had said, that about maybe in his politics or not. I can't make heads nor tails of this, Tony. Thank you for the voice to text.
Doesn't work very well.
You do occasionally have
He's
to put...
rambling on there.
There's something called punctuation. I want you to look
well, again,
into it.
It's, he might be going down the road. We don't encourage you to do that.
No, but you do have to say period or exclamation point every once in a while.
What?
The problem with kids going into medicine/dentistry is the cost of education. We are losing very smart people because they don't make enough money after graduation to pay off their loans. They choose another profession. Well, doctors and dentists should be able to make enough money eventually to pay off their loans. If you're not able to do that, then, you're not going to go into that field. At least I wouldn't. Why would you?
Good.
Move back on your property line a little bit more and plant some brand new ones and tell them to cut those trees back as far as they want to. Sure, David. Do you know how long it takes for a crepe myrtle to grow to fruition?
I'm just shaking my head, y'all. It's just sad.
Takes a minute. Takes a minute.
Yeah, those have been there a while.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty established.
Good day, Val and Richard. I'm just now tuning into your show. Have you two already talked about the former Marine who's running for office in Florida and called for Donald Trump to be killed?
We just talked about it.
Yes, we did. We did talk about it. He once again is a write-in candidate. So I really don't think anybody can take that terribly seriously. And Cindy, in fact, breaks out the words crepe murder. That's what they're looking at committing today, crepe murder.
That's what's going to happen.
Get the Arbor Police on this case.
The Arbor Police?
The Arbor Police. Something
they said that there's a forester that rides with these guys, because yesterday I noticed on the street over, there was like 4 of these trucks.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's really true, if they're just in there slaughtering trees off power lines and they don't give a rip.
Any chance it's Forrester Whitaker? I love him.
I don't know.
I've seen him in a lot of movies.
I'm hoping I get home in time to have a conversation today. Please, I got a Ring camera out there. Do you think the Ring camera, if I turn on the audio and the mic I scream at them,
you're going to have to yell.
That from my front porch they could hear down to the street?
Hey, you, knock it off. Put down the giraffe.
Get away from my crepe myrtles. Don't you touch them.
We're going to sue Alabama Power.
Where is she?
We're going to sue Alabama Power. Don't say that.
No, I know they have a job to do.
Yes.
I just love my crepe myrtles more than
power.
And I guess
more than your power,
that'll be the thing.
apparently.
I'll be like, dang, I should have told them to cut those. Now we have no power.
Live and learn.
They're little